Brought to you by Penguin.
Lower Than the Angels. Written and read by me, Diarmaid Macculloch. For Alex, Ben and Max, in memory of Felicity and Alice. Acknowledgements. Hardly had my reading for this book begun in 2020 when the world was plunged into lockdown. It was a particular pleasure in those peculiar conditions to enjoy the virtual or carefully regulated face-to-face company of my colleagues and friends at Campion Hall, Oxford, who in my retirement from the Oxford Theology and Religion faculty had generously elected me to a fellowship at the Hall, complete with study space. Their hospitality afforded pleasant hours contemplating angels proudly bearing rifles in the delightful collection of Cusco art donated to the Hall by Professor Peter Davidson. I extend my thanks to all at Campion for their welcome and conversation, alongside my continuing happy association with St Cross College over 3 decades, now as Emeritus Fellow. Although I take full responsibility for both the reading and research I've done and for the conclusions I've drawn, I was very lucky to have expert and enthusiastic assistance from Dr. Anna Chrysostomides and Dr. Rachel Dryden, specialists in Orthodox and Oriental Orthodox Christianity, who drew up bibliographies for me on some of the topics investigated in this book. What an unalloyed pleasure it was to work with them and enjoy their learning and friendship. It was a privilege to discuss this material with them, and they hugely enriched what I've been able to write. I'm deeply grateful to the British Academy Small Grants Fund, supported by the Leverhulme Trust, for providing funding for that research assistance. I'm also grateful to friends and colleagues for fruitful conversations and advice, of whom these are especially to be thanked, while exempt from blame for remaining faults. Lindsay Allison-Jones, Sarah Apatry, Nick Austin, Matthew Baymond Qureshi, John Blair, Avril Cameron, Sarah Caro, Martin Carver, Mark Chapman, Sophie Grace Chappell, Sarah Coakley, Katie Cubitt, Brian Cummings, Peter Davidson, B. Groves, Peter Groves, Helena Hamerow, Michael Harazin, Martin Hennig, Judith Herron, David Hilliard, Ronald Hutton, Isidoros Katsos, Jim Keenan, Tim Larvey, Philip Lindholm, Jack Marney, Noel Malcolm, Rachel Raphael Neese, Nicholas Orme, Aristotle Papanikolaou, David Parker, Ken Parker, John Payton, Glyn Redworth, Melise Riven, Alison Salverson, Josephine Seckham, Gemma Simmons, Michael Snape, Guy Stroomser, Susan Walker, Robin Ward, William White, Christopher Woods, and Simon Yarrow. In addition, Sam Badley, John Barton, John Blair, Katie Cubitt, Sue Gillingham, Paula Gooder, Helen King, and Judith Maltby kindly read all or part of my text and made invaluable suggestions. I learned much from the late John Boswell and the late Alan Bray, brave and pioneering scholars whom I would dearly love to have known longer. As ever, I'm hugely grateful to the support provided even for retired university staff by the Oxford Library System and its heroic staff members from Bodley's librarian onwards. What a luxury it is to enjoy this association. All through my 3 decades in Oxford, I've also luxuriated in the range of our graduate seminars and the welcome I received into their specialist deliberations. I co-edited the Journal of Ecclesiastical History for 2 decades from 1995. That journal, leader in its field worldwide, publishes around 300 book reviews a year, commissioned by the editors from experts across the entire range of church history. A superb resource of up-to-date discussion, which I found a sure guide in formulating the structure of my historical narratives. The present editorial team continues to be a source of friendship, fun, and wisdom. Likewise, my fellow judges of the Wolfson Prize and our admirable support team have prompted...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?